Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Radar, where we keep the Falcons on your radar. Thank you for joining me, Stan Parker, for another episode. Let's have a ballin' show. Rise Up Radar. If you're tired of all the national media coverage of the Cowboys and the Dak situation, how much money they going to give him, and he's an average quarterback, how much he's turning down. If you're tired of hearing about Tampa Bay, the Gronkaneers, and how they're going to win the division, and whatever the Stinky Town's doing down the road, whatever the Swamp People Light are doing down the road, if you're tired of hearing all that noise and no one talking about the ATL, the Dirty Birds down south, well, you're in the right place, because we're going to talk about nothing but Atlanta Falcons on this podcast. This is the Rise Up Radar. My name's Stan Parker, and I'd like you to bring you into my world. We devour. I read everything. I watch, break down film. I just eat, sleep, and breathe Atlanta Falcons. I've been a diehard fan my entire life. And I wanted to start this podcast because I get up and I read the articles and I see who's getting love and who's not. And the disrespect that the Falcons get just on a daily basis is astounding to me. So I'm here to all the Falcons fans throughout the South, because it's far stretching. It doesn't matter if you're, in the Carolinas or wherever. You don't matter if you're in Tennessee. If you're a Falcon fan, you're part of Falcons Nation. And we want to reach out to all those people. And we're going to bring you into the Rise Up Radar podcast. So, today's show, we'll be going over 5 reasons to get excited for the 2020 season. Well, first of all, number 1 is obvious. Football is back. We're in troubling times right now in this nation. And if we are in the 2020 season, that means football is back. Now, it might be fanless, which is fine with me because I don't go to a lot of games. I'd have a better seat at the house with a DVR, and I could go take a bathroom break whenever I want to, or I've got little kids running around. I could be home or whatever. But it's going to be so weird if they decide to come back with no fans. They tried it earlier. A different sport? They tried piping in crowd noise, and they said it worked out pretty well, just to kind of emulate. But football is back in the 2020 season. If we're watching Falcons football, that means week 1, playing the Seahawks, and it's back. Now, they released these dates in September. I don't know if they're going to actually keep those dates. I haven't heard any rumblings of, it's all fluid at this point, but the number 1 reason is the Dirty Birds will be back, and football as a whole will be back in 2020 season. And that's the first reason to be excited. And the second reason to be excited is when the football is back, the 2020 Atlanta Falcons will be wearing new uniforms. And they've got a bunch of different color combinations. They go from, I think their main uniform is going to be the all black with the red accents. And then they've got a white top, which is really cool. They got white. So they got a bunch of different color combinations. But the most interesting one to me is the ombre effect, where it fades from like red, really red, like fades down to the black. I think that one's going to be the most controversial. Some people like it, some people hate it. I think the coolest part about this whole, if you haven't seen these uniforms, you can go anywhere. They've been out for a while now, but go check them out online. And I'll drop a link in the show notes. But the coolest part about, to me, is the matte finish of the helmet. They're going to have, it's like a powder coat for the helmet, and they're going to enlarge the Falcon. The Dirty Bird used to be a little smaller, kind of centered. Now it's going to be just enlarged, take up the whole side of the head. And another cool wrinkle is going to be the face mask. It's going to be like a chrome face mask. I always thought that was sharp. Kind of looks like a grill of a truck to me. But and then another like minor detail that I really like on these uniforms is across the chest is ATL. I mean, and some people, I don't know why, man. It's like some people were like poo poo on that. I saw some stuff online that like that was dumb. And like I don't know. I think it's sick. I think it's ATL. I mean, that's so perfect for the city and where we are, man. And so I like that's my favorite aspect is the helmet. And then the all white is a combination that they're going to go with a lot this year as well. It's an all white uniform with red, black numbers, red accents around the numbers, and a red stripe down the side. I like that as well, but I don't know. But and then obviously the throwback. It's a tweak to the throwback because I think the throwback just was white numbers, like the actual like uniform, but the throwback is the old logo and with the red outline trim of the white numbers. That looks sick to me, and the stripes on the shorts or on the socks. Man, it's going to be exciting to see Debo tracking down Kamara, you know. Oh man, it's going to be I'm so excited about the 2020 season. I mean, all the additions and just oh my gosh, I cannot wait to see these Grady Jarrett, you know, cuz he was the poster child for these ombre effect uniforms. To see Grady Jarrett and Marlon Davidson just side by side and wearing these, cuz it's now you see these pictures online. If you go to the link of this online, you're seeing one guy wear a white top and black pants or whatever color combination you're looking at. But to see, you know, not only 11 players all uniformly doing it, but like a sideline of 53 players, it's going to be, I mean, just having live sports back would just be excellent. But seeing them in their brand new like uniforms and that matte helmet. Now, when I first saw the ombre effect uniform, I just first thought of, oh gosh, this is going to be like Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, we're already there. We already have a punchline attached to our name, and we're not going to speak on that. Not on this podcast. We don't give air to that. But yeah. But I don't want to be a punchline with these uniforms, and I think they did a good job. Now I'm looking at this thing, and I just noticed it just now that they've got some red pants going. And if you go to the page where it's got all the different color combinations, those red pants look kind of nice because you know the all white looks like the color rush that they usually do. I think it's like once a year, twice a year. If someone let me know in the comments, but they'll do once or twice a year. They'll do a color rush on a Thursday night, but those red pants look fly. So the second reason to be super excited about this upcoming season is, I mean, new kit, man, new uniforms. They're gonna look sharp. Matt Ryan, Matty Ice, and I hope, I mean, everybody can come back in shape because you'll be quarantined. Just ready to rock and roll. Yeah. So anyway, so that's the second reason. And then the third reason is definitely going to be, this is probably my favorite subject right here. We might spend a little time on this, but all the new faces, man. Just this 2020 like off season has just churned this roster. I mean, even more than so like after the Super Bowl run 2016, the 2017 season, they turned over the roster, and there's a stat of like Super Bowl winning teams like the Patriots that they turn over X% of their roster. It's just a churn of Bill Belichick just getting guys in and getting guys out, you know, cutting them at the right time and in their career and for the money, you know, because the Falcons are about to get soon, or if it's already happened, you know, all that Desmond Trufant money because they cut him at the appropriate deadline. So that'll free up or give them cap space but just the new faces. So they've lost. So these are the players that they've lost, and some of these are like impact players, and some of them aren't. But these are kind of the relatively big names that by cutting. So like Desmond Trufant, Devontae Freeman, Vic Beasley, Devondre Campbell, Luke Stocker, and Ty Sombrello. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that contributed. I mean, in their capacity, to the Falcons, and so you hear that and you're thinking, oh goodness, what's, this can't be a positive thing. But I mean, just the players that, dude, give Thomas Dimitroff credit. I have been a Thomas Dimitroff critic for a long time. For a long time, he had one good. I don't say one good draft, but he had one or two good drafts that really saved his bacon, because some of the other drafts have not been good. He's only picked. It's a crazy stat. He's only picked in his. I don't want to give it wrong, but very rarely does Thomas Dimitroff spend a high round draft pick on an offensive line, and that kind of shows, because he likes to patch it together through free agency, and they're free agents for a reason. Either they want too much money, or they're on the wrong side of their career, or their other team didn't think that they were worth the asking price. So anyway, and Austin Hooper. Did I mention Austin Hooper? So that's 7. He's like one of the main. I'm sorry, I just missed it in my notes. But Austin Hooper, Desmond Trufant, Devontae Freeman, Vic Beasley, Devondre Campbell, Ty Sombrello, Luke Stocker. And so, but they've added, just recently, Deion Buchanan. He's like a hybrid linebacker, safety. That's what Dan Quinn likes, is the versatility. So we'll cover that later on in the show about with the improved defense. But yeah, he's like a hybrid guy, and he loves versatility. And then so they picked up Charles Harris is like a project, because he really hasn't. I mean, he was a first round pick, but I mean, he hasn't done anything like to speak. Like, I would give you the stats, but there's like minimal things. And then they've added through the draft AJ Terrell, corner from Clemson, Marlon Davidson, obviously, Matt Hennessy. These are draft picks, and then I don't want to say the crown jewel of them all, but the most exciting, the most needle moving one of them all is Todd Gurley. Man, they picked up Todd Gurley. So, and they traded for Hayden Hurst. So we could go down the list of players they lost and who they replaced them with, could possibly and potentially be a better improvement. So kudos to Thomas Dimitroff to taking these losses and pivoting them and finding value at the trade and free agency. And because Todd Gurley's on a show me deal because of his injuries, and hey man, heck yeah, and they were already talking about trading for him. So Austin Hooper, obviously, tight end, Pro Bowl tight end twice. I don't know how they do this. I would like to know in the comments, or someone let me know on Twitter that how do they put an asterisk on your name if it's if you got into the Pro Bowl because the guy you're replacing, or because you're a replacement, because the guy who was slated to go to the Pro Bowl is in the Super Bowl, or he gets hurt and he can't go. And I think that's how it happened, to Austin Hooper twice. So Hooper gets replaced with Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst had a weird situation in Baltimore, tight end for Baltimore. He got hurt early in his career, and they picked up another tight end. And for whatever reason, the guy's good. Um, Lamar Jackson really developed a relationship with the other tight end. So he was really just kind of pushed out. So the Falcons traded for him, and so if you look at the numbers, I'm not going to break down numbers on him mainly because I don't have them in front of me. My computer's being weird. But that could be a push. Hayden Hurst is definitely a deep threat. It's got good hands. But he brings something that Hooper doesn't bring. Is in the run game. He's a little more physical. He likes to put a hat on a hat. He's kind of a lunch pail kind of blocker when it comes to that. I think he likes the contact. Then you lose Devontae Freeman. You cut him. Hooper walked in free agency. Devontae Freeman gets cut to save cap. He had 2 really good years. Super Bowl year, and this year after that, he scored 11 touchdowns. In 2 years straight, made 2 Pro Bowls. But after that, the concussions really messed him up, man. He just was never really the same after that. Not as explosive. Kind of undersized in his running. But I don't think Ty Gurley needs much of an introduction. But when he's healthy, man, he is something else. And now we could do another podcast on this. But, going back and looking, I think that'll be another episode coming up, is going back and looking at previous drafts and what could have been and what people were calling for. And so, the Vic Beasley got picked. Vic Beasley got picked instead of Todd Gurley. People wanted Gurley here. What would that have changed? We could go look back and see how Gurley would have affected the outcomes of games and if they could have won a Super Bowl with him. I don't know. My feeling is that the talent's there, man. Bar none. He's very, very talented. But he's always injured. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. But if he could give you one magical year for this year, the 2020, he's on a show me deal. They're scared about his knee. No one really knows about his knee. There's some reports came out today that his knee looks strong, but only time will tell. You could look strong all you want to, but as soon as you start getting live hits, that's when it's going. So I would wrap him in bubble wrap in the old OTAs. If and whenever those happen, I would take it very cautiously with him, and I would put him on a pitch count, and I would just do what I could, put him out there, let him hit the big plays, and make him scared of you, make him scared of him. But I would just be real careful with that knee. I'd send him to the club send him to the trainer as much as I could. So anyway, Freeman got replaced with Todd Gurley. So now I got these stats here for Freeman, and they're not as appealing as you think. People falling in love with Devontae Freeman. Obviously, he lost a step, but if you're really watching these games, so last year he gave us roughly 1,000 all-purpose yards and 6 total touchdowns. And if Todd Gurley can just equal those in the presence he has in just on the field, they're scared of him. The Falcons in the last 3 years have been top 5 in play action frequency and play action efficiency. Well, I don't know about efficiency part. Let me backtrack. They've been top 5 in play action frequency, and so that they run a lot of play action anyway. But Todd Gurley being on the field, you got to respect him because he can house one. 2 rushing touchdowns, 4 receiving touchdowns, and 410 yards receiving. So if if Todd Gurley can give you those numbers, being Todd Gurley, that's a win because the deal is very team friendly deal. Um, and so the next one is that's going to get replaced is Desmond Trufant gets replaced essentially with AJ Terrell from Clemson. Now, AJ Terrell has yet to play down in the NFL, and don't get it twisted. He still needs to come in and learn like a rookie and play. But I have all confidence that Desmond Trufant was good. It was the leader, but I think AJ Terrell is physical, and he could become a good perennial, a good defensive back. So we've got a bunch of exits and we got a lot of additions. But the one that makes me nervous, I know this is the top 5 of being excited, and 1 is football's back, 2 is the new unis, and number 3 is all the new faces. But the one thing that scares me the most, and we'll cover this on a probably coming up episode, is Devondre Campbell. They let him walk. Obviously, he commanded a lot of money, went out to Arizona. They're collecting Falcons players out in Arizona, but he'll get a starting gig, and he led the team in tackles 2 years in a row, despite Deion Jones. Deion Jones got hurt last year as well, so you got that. But he was your tight end guy. He was long. He could put his hand in the dirt. That became apparent in the last season. He really displayed that. So replacing him as an outside linebacker, that would be really high on my list. I was seeing it. I was wondering if they were going to pick up a line. So he was a was that third, fourth? He was a fifth round pick. Yeah, he was a 5th round pick out of the Golden Gophers, and I'm wondering if they got this guy, Michael Walker. They got him in the 4th round from Fresno State. Now I think he's more of an inside linebacker. I think I don't know. I haven't done a lot of film study on him, but he's a tackling machine is what I've read, and got to that. So all these new faces, we got offensive new faces, got defensive new talent. It's gonna be a fun, just learning the team again, learning them in new uniforms, and just seeing the attitude and everything else that are just seeing. It's basically, I don't want to say it's a new team, but it's a retooled team, which I think shows desperation of the front office, which is good. Because I feel like after the Super Bowl, they kind of got complacent and they didn't churn as much and go after it as much. Because that offensive line just still scares me. But still exciting 2020 new faces. You get to see Todd Gurley back at home, wearing a new uniform, wearing a new number. You get to see, what they call him, Red Thor. Hayden Hurst come out and play. You're going to see, I didn't even mention him, Dante Fowler. You get to see him coming off the edge. Oh man, it's going to be a good deal. I haven't talked a lot of defense. It took a lot of time talking about the offense, because my next topic is number 4. It's going to be the revamped defense. I think this team has a chance to be top 10 defense. I said it. Boop. I said it here. I'm not the first one that said it. I know there's some Falcons fans putting in the work out there, putting out content on the interwebs and studying this roster and saying, hey, this team's got a chance of being good. I'm with them. I'm reading. I'm looking at this Marlon Davidson. I'm looking at Michael Walker. I'm looking at the safeties they got in the back. They got some good safeties in the back. And if they can all stay healthy, and if they can all hunt, play fast, Everybody do their job and get physical. This team's fast enough to be top 10. They are fast defense. So with the addition of Marlon Davidson at defensive end / defensive tackle, he's your. I think he plays like he. They say he played at 280. I mean, he was listed at 280, but at the combine, I think he weighed a little over 300 pounds. I think. I'd have to look that up. Sorry, and but he's a big man, very athletic, relentless. So I think he's going to bring a lot of attitude to the table. I think we've all thought the way Tack came out in the draft, he was like a little bit of a loose cannon or a little bit brash with his words or whatever. And I thought, he would be a dog on the field. But I think them shoulders are bothering him. And there ain't a whole lot of bull rush you can do with shoulders being bad. That's it. He's had 3 surgeries in 3 seasons. And there's not a lot you could... it's not his fault. I'm sure he has a high motor. He does. But, production's not there. It's just not. And so, hopefully, having Dante Fowler on the other side of him, so they have to pay attention to Dante Fowler, which he's came on last year. But he's kind of had a lackluster season. He's got a lot left, or lackluster career. He's got a lot left in the tank. But if he could come on, he had 11.5 sacks last year, Dante Fowler did. If you got to look out for him. And then you got to look out for Grady is always getting doubled. But if Marlon Davidson, I think that's the best value pick the Falcons have in this draft. I'll talk about this draft probably in another podcast as well. We'll break down the draft. I know there's a lot out there on the draft already because it was a while ago, but I'm just now getting into my research on the draft, so that'll be coming. But that value pick right there of him being at the second round, I didn't think he would last that long. Because, Kinlaw went right before the Falcons did, and then Chason was there. And I am proud of Thomas Dimitroff not going after Chason just because he was there. I hope it's saying his name right. The guy from LSU, the end from LSU. I'm glad they didn't pick him because I just saw that as being Vic Beasley 2.0. He's had injury problems. He looks like Vic. He's kind of thin. I don't want to say he's a one-trick pony, but, they've been down that road with Tack, and they've been down that road with Vic. So they got a big, meaty defensive end / tackle, and that's only going to improve their interior, which I'm so proud of them for going interior. Because to me, he's playing defensive tackle. He's really replacing Adrian Claiborne, if you think about it, how big he is. And he can play with some speed, too. So the defense. So we're talking the line right now. So we got Tack. On the inside, you got Grady Davidson. And on the outside, you got Fowler. Man. And you got your rotation after that. And if you can get Davidson, and if you can get Grady Jarrett to swallow up those offensive linemen, to engage those linemen and command doubles and triples and hold your line, that will free up Deion Jones to run and hit, because that's where he flourishes. When the offensive line gets to the second level, he is not big enough to shed his blockers. That's one thing about him, that if an offensive line gets his hands on him, he's out of the play. And that's just the fact of it. And it's not his fault, but he's a little light in the pants. But he can run like the wind bullseye. Boy, he can run. And he is always around the ball. But if the offensive line don't have any respect for the defensive line, they just bypass and get to the second level, Deion Jones can't run and hit. So I'm hoping that I'm looking at Davidson to provide that extra oomph on the line to where Deion Jones can run and hit. along with Foye Luakin. Let's not forget about him. Ivy League guy. Really fast, good special teams guy. He's going to see a lot more playing time. We're going to learn a lot about him this year. He's smart enough to learn the playbook, obviously, but I like him. I think he's a great player. And so their three linebackers. I'm thinking if Kamal Ishmael doesn't start, because they like to do that sometimes, and we'll get into like really breaking down film, like playing like base nickel. That's kind of heady stuff right there. This is all just overview stuff. We could get into that later if y'all want to. This is purely entertainment. I want to be fun in this podcast. I want to bring some excitement to the podcast. I don't want to be just straight numbers and straight breaking down film and base nickel and running NASCAR packages. And I mean, I can, but I don't think it's as exciting or listen to. So anyway, so we got the line there. We got the linebackers, and then the corner playing nickel a lot. But those three safeties I was talking about, DeMonte KZ, you got to get him on the field at all costs. He is a ball hawk, and he's got skills. He will be burned before. He has been burned before, but it's okay because his skill is the balls in the air. Look out, he's coming. So I love that. Keanu Neal, you can't make the club in a tub. This is the show me year for Keanu Neal. I don't know. He's injured a lot. It scares me. But when he's back there and he's right, he's a bad boy. Now, his coverage ain't that good, but he's a bad man, and people think twice. Them hear them footsteps, and they be, woo! He's a headhunter out there. And they add Deion Buchanan, which kind of plays that role a little bit. You got a little bit of Kamal Ishmael a little bit. And then they drafted another safety as well, I believe. And so, anyway, and then you got the corners. You're going to go with a really young back end. You got Sheffield, Oliver, and the new guy, AJ Terrell. And so, I don't know, man. I'm just excited. I think they got a young, hungry, fast defense that's going to surprise some people. That's what I think. And especially in the, they're in a good division right now. They got a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFC South. And so I look at them to really take another step up. And what we hadn't talked about until now, and I don't even have it wrote down, but it just came to me. The last half of the year, they really came on and really put the clamps on really good teams. And I think them shifting around the coaching staff, because they didn't change anything they hit all right, so what people who that don't follow the Falcons a lot, or you have the fans, like Falcons fans that are like fans from afar. Oh, they need to get rid of Matt Ryan. It's like, can't just I think he gets paid way too much money just to get rid of it. It's like, why don't they just go get Tom Brady? It's like, okay. But you got those people in your family. They're like, oh, the Falcons, they just... literally, nothing changed last year personnel-wise between the first 7 games, or I guess 8, we'll cut it in half. First 8 games and the last 8 games, nothing changed personnel-wise. No coaching staff changed. No player addition changed. None of that stuff happened. It was all the coaching carousel. Dan Quinn's got all the sayings. He does talk a lot. I like Dan Quinn. He's a very motivational guy, but the sayings are all cool and everything when you're winning. When you're not winning, it gets old and kind of, I don't want to say patronizing, but it gets stale. But, I mean, kudos to him for shuffling up the deck a little bit and bringing Raheem Morris back over to the defensive side and basically essentially giving him the defensive coordinator role. And so I'm hoping, and Ulbrich is still linebacker coach, but I think that's a big key as well, is having it another year, build on your momentum. Oh, I'm excited about the Falcons defense. I don't know. Could you tell? We just spent a lot of time on that. That's okay. Um, that was number 4, and the last one is doggone Matty Ice. That Matt Ryan is a good quarterback, and I don't care what any of your friends say, because if you listen to this podcast, you know what? I'm not going to paint it with a broad brush. If you listen to this podcast and you don't think Matt Ryan is a good quarterback, a deserving quarterback, or an elite quarterback, there's all these adjectives they put with quarterbacks, but I am a Matt Ryan apologist. I do defend Matt Ryan. Now, there are some things I know he has limitations of. I mean, he's not Aaron Rodgers, but he doesn't need to be. They need to have a team around him. And so he is what he is. I mean, he's been doing this since 2008. And that's 12 years. So, anyway, Matt Ryan's weapons. We're not talking about Matt Ryan. We're talking about his weapons. And, boy, he's got a bunch of them. And so, obviously, you got your Julio. You got your Calvin Ridley. Wait. Yeah, Calvin Ridley. Sorry, I was about to say Riley Ridley. Calvin Ridley. Russell Gage as number 3. Laquan Treadwell. I'm excited about that. He could revamp his career, really blossom. I mean, he's got the talent. Ole Miss guy, SEC guy. All the tools in the world. I think getting him in here and get him under Julio, get him with Calvin Ridley, that could really bring out the beast again in his career. So I'm excited about that. Hayden Hurst get into the fold. They call him Red Thor. Dude's ripped. Likes to block. Todd Gurley, obviously, out of the backfield, throwing out of the backfield. And Brian Hill, I think, is going to have a good year as well. Quadri Olson, I don't know why they don't play him much. It's a really kind of a crowded backfield if you look at it, like roster wise. But Matt Ryan's got a plethora of weapons, and I think if the offensive line could be healthy, and they figure out left guard, because they have yet to figure out left guard. We could do that real quick. We could go on another podcast on the draft class, like I said earlier. Another episode of the draft class. But, so left tackle, you got Matthews. He's not going anywhere. Left guard, giant question mark. Big old hole. Every person you've put in there has been weird. Carpenter, Brown, Schweitzer, Witzel, or whatever his name was. Just, it's been a black hole for a while now, left guard. Obviously, Mack is not going anywhere for a couple years. I don't know the contract situation. But, they said this guy, Matt Hennessy, he played a lot of guard in his career, so he could be a guard if you need to. They just drafted him in the 3rd round. Right guard is Chris Lindstrom, and then right tackle is Caleb McGarity. So if those all could be a cohesive unit, figure out left guard, give Matt Ryan the time, I think Matt Ryan will have another stellar season next year. I think he's going to cut down on his turnovers. He'll be in the 2nd year of Dirk Cutter's offense. And I'm excited to see if Dirk Cutter can get creative and use all of his weapons to the fullest extent. I'm not sold on Dirk Cutter yet. I know this is a 5. Oh, to be excited. I'm going to keep it real with you because this is what I see, and that's just how I roll. I am a optimist, just as personality-wise. I'm just giddy about the Falcons all the time. I think they're going the distance. I mean, they could have... 2 years, they were a couple plays away from advancing in the playoffs 2 years ago. So, but Dirk Cutter's really got to show me something this year. He makes me really nervous about how bland he is. And so if they can get a little more exotic and get some different looks, I think Matty Ice is going to have a huge year with Julio, Ridley, Todd Gurley. Move the needle, baby. I mean, Treadwell, Gage, Hurst, all your backfield. And this is what I'm going to throw you out, kind of a teaser for my next podcast, is we're going to go over the draft. But I think this draft has the potential to be on par with the 2016 draft. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Rise Up Radar. If you like what you heard, go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review. And if you have any questions, if you have any show suggestions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. And thank you for listening again. And until next time, rise up.